This lecture is about critical discourse analysis and political speeches or political discourse. We have seen recently that there has been a major shift towards political discourse analysis within the domains of critical discourse analysis. Therefore, it seems very important to understand what political discourse is, how it works, and how we can benefit from it or add to it through critical discourse analysis. In the beginning, I'll just talk about what is a political language, or what is the relationship between language and politics. Embedded in the Western thought, we can assume that language and political thought or politics are closely interlinked, because it's not possible to do language without to do politics without proper use of language. And this kind of views are generally linked to Aristotle, when he said that humans are animals who live in a polis and they have a very unique capacity for speech. Humans, since he calls, or many others believe, are political animals. They have certain point of views which they want to follow. They have shared thoughts. So humans essentially are political animals, as other animals are not. For example, bees are not political as humans are. So by nature, humans are political. They usually side with one side or the other. Man alone, as compared to other animals, have the power of speech. And while elaborating this, we need to understand that human capacity for speech is closely interlinked with their capacity for doing politics. In order to understand this, we need to understand what speech is. And in order to understand what speech is, we need to understand the difference between speech and voice. Voice is something which is common to all animals. Other animals do have this capacity for voice, and humans also have this capacity. What do we mean by voice? Is the capacity to express our pain or pleasure. So all animals can express their pain or pleasure. So does human beings. But speech is a more sophisticated capacity or ability to do something. It can more be explained in teleological terms or in functional terms. A speech serves to make people understand what is useful and what is not useful for them, what is right, what is wrong, or what is just or unjust. And these perceptions of human beings about right or wrong, when they become shared between a group of people, they become political views or political thoughts. So this is where we can see a link between human capacity for speech and the language through which they speak and the politics they are involved in or they are a part of. The real difference between man and other animals, therefore, is humans alone have the perception of good and evil, or just and unjust. The sense of just and the unjust might logically mean that there could be as many opinions as many individuals are, because everybody may potentially or possibly have different opinions about certain things in the society. They might call a certain thing good, and others might call a certain thing bad. So every individual may has his or her own opinion. However, when we look deep into this, we see that this individual difference sometimes, rather most of the times, merged into some kind of shared perceptions about various views into our human society. And these sharedness of views turns into some kind of political associations. Humans' endowment for language has the function of not only expressing, indicating, signifying, communicating what is deemed according to such shared perceptions to be advantageous or not, to be useful or not, to be right or not. So this is what how we express politics through language, implying what is deemed right and wrong within that group is very much a political point of view. Aristotle did not pursue his view of humans being political animals or the relationship between human's linguistic and political makeup, but we can always take clues from his words. In linguistics, it is now widely accepted that the human capacity for speech is genetically based, and though this genetically based activity is activated in some kind of society, in some kind of social interactions, where they obviously get involved into politics also. However, two things need to be noticed in this regard. First, that political behavior is not itself genetically based. So we cannot say that speech is genetically based and political view is not. There is a possibility that this political stancing or keeping political views may also be genetically based in human beings, though we need a lot of research to prove this point. However, based on the evidence available now, we cannot prove this, nor we can disprove this. Second, one has to assume that the cultural and culturally transmitted characteristics of human language serve the needs of the political. So what we share culturally between each other in a certain generation or transmit to other generations do have political goals. What is clear is that political activity does not exist without the use of language. So doing politics also involves using language. So we can conclude that language and politics are closely interlinked. So in order to understand the politics of a certain person, a leader, statesman, or a certain society, we need to understand their language and how they use a certain language or their own language to express their own point of views, what they consider right or wrong.